The proven natural methods to live happier, healthier and fulfilled. This ancient secret changed my entire life, and it's backed by nature and science. I remember the day I collapsed in my apartment bathroom. No warning, no epic moment of realization, just the cold tile pressing into my face, the spinning ceiling light, and a deep emptiness that no amount of sleep, food, or scrolling could fix. I was 28, supposedly at the prime of my life. I had a decent job. I had friends. I had a working phone and a bed. But something in me was gone. And it wasn't burnout. It was deeper. It was the slow death of meaning. A kind of silent erosion of joy, purpose, and connection. And that's the exact moment I began the journey I want to take you on right now. A journey that pulled me out of my collapse using nothing artificial. Nothing expensive, nothing trendy, but instead, something ancient, proven, and shockingly natural. And if you stay with me, I'll show you the simple, Stoic-based methods that rewired my mind, revived my body, and made me feel more alive and fulfilled than I ever thought possible. But first, you need to know why we're all collapsing. Maybe not in bathrooms, but emotionally, spiritually, even physically. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you truly felt fulfilled? Not distracted, not entertained, but fulfilled? If your answer is fuzzy, or maybe never, you're not alone. We're surrounded by comforts and conveniences that ancient Stoics could only dream of. But we're also lonelier, more anxious, and more exhausted than ever. Why? Because we've abandoned what nature designed us for. The Stoics believed that happiness isn't something we chase. It's something we return to, like a river always flowing underneath us, waiting for us to jump back in. They said our natural state is joy. Our birthright is peace. But modern life is like a dam blocking that river. And unless we learn how to break through it, naturally, we'll keep gasping for air while the water's right beneath our feet. So how do we return to the flow? The first method is brutally simple. Get uncomfortable on purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He wasn't being metaphorical. The Stoics believed that deliberate discomfort is the path to strength and serenity. So I did something ridiculous. I started taking cold showers every morning. Not because it was trendy, because it was miserable. But here's what happened. After 2 weeks, my mind was sharper. My body felt like it woke up from a coma. I started to smile, not because something happened, but because I realized I could do hard things. I could choose hardship and survive. And that's what most of us are missing today. We avoid pain like it's poison. But pain is nature's trainer. When you embrace it, deliberately, you train your brain to stop running and start rising. I stopped needing coffee. I stopped needing Netflix. I stopped needing fake rewards to feel alive. Cold water taught me what warm motivation never could. But discomfort was just the beginning. Next came silence. You want to live happier? Healthier? More fulfilled? Then stop talking for a day. I mean it, one full day. No social media, no calls, no podcasts. Just you, your breath, your body, and the wild chorus of thoughts you've been dodging for years. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And you'll discover just how true that is when you sit in silence long enough to hear your own lies. The first time I did it, I hated it. I felt restless, bored, angry, but around hour 8, something cracked. My brain stopped screaming. My body stopped twitching. I was just still. And that stillness? It was the first real peace I'd tasted in years. Not from a spa, not from a trip, just from stopping, completely. That's when it hit me. Peace isn't hidden. It's just buried under noise. And yet we're scared to stop. Scared we'll disappear if we're not reacting to a screen. But the Stoics weren't scared of silence. They bathed in it. They wrote in it. They rebuilt themselves in it. Because silence doesn't subtract, it adds. Now, let's talk about nature. Not in the Instagrammable, #wanderlust way, but in the raw, wild, barefoot kind of way. Do you know how long a human can last without nature before we start to deteriorate? Science says just 3 days without exposure to natural light or greenery can begin affecting your mood, cognition, and even immune system. But the Stoics didn't need lab results. They knew it firsthand. Epictetus said, "We are children of nature. To ignore it is to ignore ourselves." So I started walking in the woods every morning. No headphones, no goals, just walking, and something changed. The wind didn't care about my anxiety. The trees didn't judge my failures. The birds didn't ask me to prove myself. They just existed, fully, honestly, unapologetically. And slowly, so did I. We're not built for artificial light, processed thoughts, and synthetic emotions. We're built for sun, soil, sky, and when we realign with that, everything starts healing. Your thoughts, your health, your sleep, your soul. But that doesn't mean you need to move into a cabin. It means you need to start syncing your rhythm to something older than time. Wake with the sun, step outside barefoot, watch the stars instead of your phone. Return to the earth, and the earth will return something back. Now, let's turn the volume up. Because what I'm about to tell you changed my life more than any book, course, or mentor ever could. One day, while journaling after a long hike, I asked myself the question that shattered me. What if nothing needs to change, except how I see it? It hit like lightning. I realized I wasn't depressed because life was unfair. I was depressed because I was resisting life, judging it, wishing it were something else. But the Stoics taught, you don't control events, only your response to them. So I made a vow. Starting that day, I would begin treating everything as training. Every delay, every insult, every mistake, training. For what? For becoming who I was meant to be. Suddenly, my whole life turned into a dojo. Traffic became meditation, arguments became practice in patience, failure became fertilizer. And the moment I stopped demanding that life serve me, life started transforming me. Let me say that again. When you stop demanding that life serve you, life starts transforming you. So here's your challenge. Yes, I'm literally challenging you, right now. Tomorrow, when something annoys you, traffic, rude emails, your own mood, treat it as training, smile at it, thank it, because that is Stoicism in motion. That is power. That is freedom. The ancient Stoics didn't write to sound wise. They wrote because they were on fire with truth, and they wanted you to feel that fire too. And right now, I want you to feel what I felt. That deep, primal joy that erupts not when you escape your problems, but when you outgrow them. It's time to reclaim your nature. It's time to rewire your mind. And it starts with the simplest, most natural truths on earth. Coming up next, I'll show you how an ancient Stoic trick helped me overcome chronic anxiety without pills or therapy. And how you can apply it today, in 1 minute or less. This 60-second ancient Stoic hack silenced my anxiety faster than anything else. Let me take you back to a moment that changed everything. I was in the middle of a grocery store. Not a battlefield, not a breakup, a grocery store, and suddenly, my heart was pounding. My vision blurred. I couldn't breathe. It felt like my entire nervous system was trying to run away, but my feet were frozen to the floor between frozen peas and discount cereal. Yep, it was a full-blown panic attack. I left my cart. I ran outside. I sat on the curb like a lost child, trying not to cry, and I asked myself, why is this happening to me? And then I remembered a line from Epictetus. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. And right there, on the sidewalk, I tried something ancient, something ridiculously simple. I took a breath and said aloud, this is not dangerous. This is just energy. I get to decide what it means. That moment didn't erase the panic, but it cracked the door. And over the next few weeks, I began practicing what I now call the Stoic switch. A 60-second technique that rewired how my brain processed fear. Here's how it works. Step 1. When panic strikes, name the sensation, not the story. Instead of, I'm freaking out, I'd say, there's tightness in my chest. There's fast breathing. That's it. Step 2. I'd ask, can I endure this for 1 minute? Almost always, the answer was yes. Step 3. I'd shift from resistance to curiosity. Instead of, why is this happening? I'd ask, what is this trying to train me for? This 3-step shift, sensation, endurance, curiosity, is grounded in Stoic thought. The Stoics believed emotions are messengers, not enemies. They're the raw materials of wisdom. And once I stopped fighting anxiety, it lost its grip, not overnight, but every time I used the Stoic switch, it weakened, and one day, I realized, I hadn't had a panic attack in months. Now I walk into grocery stores like a gladiator, because I know, nothing can shake me if I decide not to be shaken. You can do this too. Because happiness, health, and fulfillment aren't the absence of anxiety. They're the presence of mastery over it. But let's get real. You and I both know life throws heavier punches than panic. Like betrayal. Like death. Like waking up one day and realizing your life doesn't look anything like what you imagined. I hit that wall, too. After fixing my anxiety, I found myself in a different kind of pain. The silent ache of meaninglessness. Everything felt okay, but empty, and that scared me more than panic ever did. So I did something crazy. I took a vow of intentional service for 30 days. Every single day, I had to do one meaningful thing for someone else, without expecting anything in return. It could be tiny, a compliment, a handwritten note, carrying someone's groceries. I wasn't doing it to be noble. I did it to survive. I needed a reason to get out of bed. What I discovered was shocking. The days I served others, no matter how small, I felt energized, alive, less trapped in my head. And on day 14, it hit me. Fulfillment isn't found in being served. It's found in becoming useful. That's why Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire, still wrote, "What is your function? To be good, to do good. The rest doesn't matter." The Stoics weren't into big speeches or empty gestures. They believed that the smallest act of goodness, done consistently, was more powerful than 1,000 brilliant thoughts. And when I started living like that, focusing less on how I felt and more on how I could help, I began healing in ways I didn't even realize I needed. So now I ask you, what is one small way you can serve today? Not someday, not after you fix yourself, but now, imperfect, flawed, anxious, you. Because the world doesn't need perfect people, it needs present people. And when you show up for someone else, you show up for yourself in ways you can't yet imagine. But let's not stop there. Let's talk about your body. Yeah, I know, everyone has an opinion about what to eat, how to work out, what supplements to take, but the Stoics approached the body differently. They saw it not as a trophy, but as a tool. Seneca fasted, Epictetus walked barefoot in winter, Marcus Aurelius woke early to train, even as emperor, not for six-pack abs, but because they believed that a disciplined body sharpens a free mind. So I made a radical shift. I stopped working out to look good. I started moving to become useful. I did push-ups to carry friends when they were weak. I ran to be ready for emergencies. I stretched to kneel longer when comforting someone grieving. And suddenly, my body wasn't a burden. It was a sacred vessel of purpose. I started sleeping better, eating better, not because I had to, but because I respected my body as my ally. And here's something no one tells you. When your body feels aligned with your mission, your soul stops screaming. So if you've been treating your body like an enemy, stop. Begin walking again, touch the earth again, not for likes, for life. Now, we've hit some powerful truths so far, but I want to share something vulnerable, something raw. There was a day I almost gave up. Not in a dramatic way, in the quiet way, the nothing matters way. I was sitting in a dark room, staring at a blinking cursor on a screen, drowning in doubt, feeling like all this Stoic stuff was just words. And then I remembered one quote, one line from Marcus Aurelius that saved me. If it's endurable, then endure it, stop complaining. So I stood up, literally stood up, I walked to the sink, washed my face, and I said, let's go, we're not done yet. And that moment became a ritual. Every time I felt like quitting, I would say out loud, we're not done yet. It became my anchor. And maybe you need that too. Maybe your problems feel massive, maybe your pain feels endless, but let me remind you. If you're still breathing, you're not done yet. So don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on life. The Stoics believed that every breath was a battlefield won. Every sunrise was a vote of confidence from the universe. You are still in the arena. And the arena is where transformation happens. Let's reflect on what we've covered. We reprogrammed anxiety with a 60-second Stoic trick. We discovered meaning through small daily service. We reconnected to our bodies not as objects but sacred vessels. We faced despair with defiance, with fire, with purpose. And we did all of it not by escaping life, but by facing it head on. But we're not done. Because in the next part of this journey, I'll show you how one powerful Stoic question can unlock your deepest purpose, rewire your habits forever, and give you the inner peace you've been chasing your whole life. This one Stoic question will unlock your purpose and change how you live forever. It was the kind of question that stopped my mind cold. I was sitting under a tree, journal in hand, trying to make sense of why I still felt unfinished. I'd beaten panic, I'd rediscovered meaning, I'd strengthened my body and spirit, but something was missing, something bigger. Then I stumbled on this ancient question, hidden in the writings of Epictetus. To what purpose am I using my soul today? I read it, and then I read it again. And I swear to you, everything paused, the birds, the wind, even my heart, because that question wasn't asking for a to-do list. It was asking if I was living on purpose, or just surviving by default. I started writing furiously, not answers, but confessions. I realized how often I wasted days avoiding discomfort instead of growing through it. I saw how often I settled for temporary pleasure instead of cultivating lasting fulfillment. And I saw something else too, how much of my life was shaped by noise that wasn't mine. Expectations, algorithms, childhood wounds. The Stoics warned us about this. Marcus Aurelius said, if you find something better than justice, truth, self-control, courage, then let it win your heart. But if not, be content with these. So I asked myself, what have I let win my heart? And the answer hit hard: approval, distraction, fear. That was the moment I made a new vow. From that day forward, I would live every day with just one mission: to use my soul for something meaningful, even if no one ever sees it. That single shift changed how I approached everything. No more mindless scrolling, no more sleepwalking through routines, no more waiting for inspiration. Every morning, I began with that question: to what purpose am I using my soul today? And the answers surprised me. Some days it was writing. Some days it was listening, truly listening, to a friend in pain. Some days it was walking in silence and offering gratitude to a sky that never asked for thanks. But the key was this: my life stopped being about results and started being about intention. And this, my friend, is where true happiness lives, not in outcomes, but in alignment. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine two people climbing a mountain. One is obsessed with the peak. The other is focused on every step, every breath, every view. Only one of them feels fulfilled before they reach the top. The Stoics taught that we don't control the peak. We control the step, and when you learn to love that step, deeply, intentionally, you've already won. So here's what I started doing. Something radical, something ancient. I built what I call my daily compass. A 3-minute ritual inspired by Stoic practice that rewires your habits naturally, without shame, and with deep purpose. Here's how it works. 1. Start with stillness. 1 minute, no distractions, just breathe, let your mind arrive. 2. Ask the question, to what purpose will I use my soul today? Write your answer, keep it short, 1 sentence is enough. 3. Choose 1 action aligned with that answer. Not 10, just 1, make it count. I've done this for 97 days straight. No apps, no streaks, just intention, and what I've found is nothing short of miraculous. I no longer chase discipline. I live with direction. I no longer wrestle with guilt. I walk with grace. Because I'm not trying to be perfect anymore. I'm trying to be true. And maybe that's what you've been missing too. Not motivation, not productivity, but a return to what matters. The Stoics weren't interested in hacks. They were interested in harmony, between mind, body, soul, and nature. And when those 4 align, something holy happens. You start waking up not to chase, but to contribute. You start moving not to impress, but to express. You start eating, thinking, breathing, and speaking as if every moment was sacred, because it is. And this isn't philosophy you admire. It's philosophy you live. Now I want to leave you with something powerful. A challenge. Because everything we've talked about, discomfort, stillness, nature, service, mastery over anxiety, purpose, it all leads to this moment, right here. You've been given an ancient key. But a key is useless if you don't use it. So I dare you, no, I invite you, to do something bold. Live the next 7 days as if your soul is on a sacred mission. Every morning, ask the Stoic question. To what purpose am I using my soul today? Every night, reflect. Did I live in harmony with nature, courage, and truth? That's it, 7 days, and I promise, it will change your life more than any app, book, or course ever could. Because what you'll feel isn't hype, it's home. You'll come home to yourself, to the part of you that was always strong, always wise, always free. The Stoics didn't promise an easy life, they promised a meaningful one. And right now, you have the tools. You have the truth. You have the natural methods to live happier, healthier, and fulfilled. And the most beautiful part? You already carry them inside you. You just forgot. So let this be the moment you remember. The moment you return. The moment you begin, not a new life, but your real one. Right here, right now. Because you are not broken. You are not late. You are not behind. You are simply ready. So let's go. Final words? Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And I say to you now, waste no more time searching for happiness. Live it, build it, be it. I'll see you out there, in the arena. Where true Stoics belong. Where you belong. And if you feel this stirred something in you, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Someone you know might be one ancient truth away from healing their whole life. And maybe that someone is you.